You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Woo! We can handle the truth, folks. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We're going to do a little monologue, and then we're going to do a little Q&A. So if you're on Patreon, you guys get to do this with me every day, Monday through Friday. You get to do question and answer, and it doesn't even require me to become unnecessarily inebriated. Anyways, folks, the plans are being revealed, and I think this is just part of the process. We see what's going on, and they keep pushing for what they want, and then we learn, we understand what it is these people are after, what they want, what are their plans, who benefits, all of these questions. So in today's exciting monologue, we're going to go over just that. And there are also consequences. There's consequences for the fight. Not always, folks, do we got to get kicked in the nutsack or yanked around by the tits or any of those bad things. We can have we can have good things happen too. And that's usually what happens in a fight. Now, in a one-sided, upside down, lopsided fight, all you do is get kicked around. But they can't defeat us. We got this thing called the Constitution, and we believe in it. We have our faith. And because of that, we're not giving up. And because of that, folks, we're discovering there's some value there. It is not valueless. There's real value there. And it is allowing us and others to try and win. So let's get into it. And I want to thank you all for coming live in the comments section. Have fun. Get those questions into Jolene. I know Woo-Man's out there with his blue wrench, just waiting to nail some ding-dong. But for the most part, I know on Patreon here, we're doing really well. So let's start. I want to start with the positive story. Right? Or rather the positive upshot. Right? Here's a quote. People are understanding not just they can punch back, we can play smash mouth. Now, that came from Steve Bannon on his show. But the reason I felt that was important is there's an energy boost that comes with a win. The energy boost to fight back. It's part of the real story is we're not just in this to lose. We can fight back. Now, let's just kind of go through the list. I have one heck of a list, folks. But this is really fascinating stuff, right? One more on the positive action note, right? Kevin McCarthy, folks, has been confronted by an actual reporter over the leaked tape that he wanted Trump to resign, right? This, folks, here is a battle us peons can fight. So I'm going to say, do it, fight, take action, prep to action, right? Fight when you can and where you can, right? Use the tiny pins and needles that we have to politically poke all the scum of DC, right? Call, write, email, message, share, post, attack, right? This anti-American rhino scum, McCarthy, he needs to be outed, as in kicked out, sent packing in shame, right? He lies. He gets caught lying. He denies the lie, which in itself another lie. Then he lies about the lie. Then he changes the subject in the interview. You know, screw McCarthy, folks. We need a vote of no confidence on this guy, removed from power now, right? Call your congressman. Call Big Marge. Call Lauren Boebert. Call Matt Gaetz. Call everyone. Write, text, email, call him and say, we don't want this guy. Right? He is a sellout. He thinks he's going to get to be the Speaker of the House if 90 Proof Nancy loses her power in November. No, getting McCarthy in there is just another California scumbucket. Right? He's a Republican in name only. So, right, this Elon Musk thing has some legs to it. It is having an effect. I'm not a Musk worshiper. I'm not going to go to a glory hole and wait for my turn for something to poke through and hit me in the eye. That's not what I'm about with Musk. But what he is doing is showing us we can win. And this is incredible. I really want to talk about this, right? The European Union has put Elon Musk now on notice over what? His Tesla cars, his SpaceX rocket, his government contracts. Nope. He's being put on notice over his free speech plans for Twitter. Really? Yes, folks. Really. The European Union has put Elon Musk on notice, warning that he faces hefty fines or even a ban if he allows free speech. We used to hear, folks, that free speech was a required component. It's necessary for democracy, the right of the people to speak. Isn't that the war cry? The maggot leftists, the hippies, the frickin' socialists and communists always scream, we have a right to be here, man. We got a right to talk. It's called free speech, man. You've heard that hippie accent. Man, right? But now democracy demands your silence. Democracy demands you STFU. Democracy demands obedience. Because democracy wants tyranny? Slavery? What? What the hell does democracy actually create, folks? Sounds like it creates a bunch of frickin' tyrants. That's why we don't have a democracy. John M. sent me a thing. It was a Walter Cronkite speech. So I presume it's from when I was a kid, because that's when Walter Cronkite, the voice of the news, was on. That guy, way back in the 60s and 70s, Walter Cronkite. He was a fossil then. I mean, he's beyond fossils now. Anyways, he's talking about, well, we live in a federal system. And I was like, federal? We have a federalized government? Well, that's what happened after the Civil War. We went from a national government to a federal government. But we never changed, folks. Well, I'm going to speak generally. We're a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy. We've got a fight on our hands, folks, and this free speech thing is making it. There was someone else sent me something. Hey, man, they're coming after our guns. I'm like, I get it. They're going to keep coming after our guns. But, I'll give you a little bit of Terrence Pop there, but no, they keep losing the Second Amendment battle. And that's why they came after the First Amendment. That's why they came after the First Amendment. Now, it's incredible. The war on freedom is front and center now, folks. After every war, the winner prescribes their rules, right? This is what's going on. We're fighting back, you and I. There's some big people up there, folks. They're fighting with us, for us, etc. Right now, over in Europe. Oh, wait, we're switching gears. That means we need our Ukraine headliner. Right, Ukraine. Folks, the Polish Prime Minister says Warsaw has delivered tanks to Ukraine. That's right. The Germans are going to deliver tanks with anti-aircraft capability. The Polish army is going to send their tanks. I guess the Polish Prime Minister has admitted that he wants to have his ass kicked by Russia. You know, why are they doing this, folks? Why are they doing this? So the form of the ass kicking made itself known. No energy for you. Russia has said, look, you're done. Gazprom came out, or is it? Gazprom, their energy giant, came out and said on Wednesday, no more natural gas for you. No soup for you. No natural gas for you, Poland. Right? Because they're not paying in rubles. They said, okay, you want to play games? They demanded rubles, a couple weeks ago. But now it's time. It's time to put the hurt to them. Instantly, energy prices spike. Now, I'm going to recommend you listen to Steve St. Angelo on the SRS Rocco report on YouTube. I can't get you all the information, folks. We don't have all the time. But if you want to learn about energy return on investment, what the hell is going on, why we're over there, this is what it's about. It's about money. How cheap is the energy? And without energy and inexpensive energy, you can't have prosperity. So what are they doing to Europe? They're taking away their cheap energy. They've screwed themselves, folks. Literally. Germany, Poland, the rest of Europe have nailed their own feet to the ground. Probably France is number one for being intelligent about it. And they have lots of nuclear energy and they're building more. And England is right behind saying, we're going to build nuclear plants too to produce energy so they don't have to buy Russian coal, Russian natural gas, Russian and anything else, right? Energy, oil. It's going to take years to get off it. And that's what cracks me up. It literally cracks me up that they're saying in Europe, folks, we've got a plan to be off of Russian energy by 2027. So you better look out, Putin. It's like, really? 2027? Let me look at my calendar. It's 2022. 2027 is 5 years away. They think they're going to play footsies and screw with Putin for 5 years. They're going to talk shit, sanction him while they do things to get off of Russian energy, while they take the steps necessary to get off of energy. It's incredible. One, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The alternative is to start getting coal from elsewhere. And wait a minute, I thought coal was evil. Well, it's a very inexpensive way to get the power they need. We're in an energy crisis, folks. Europe is in an energy crisis. The United States is not far behind. Look at your gas pump. Biden did that, right? Biden did it. He's proud of himself. He had a chance to restore more oil drilling and he's denied it again. Biden did the energy thing. We're going to be right behind. This is an energy crisis. The cheaper the energy, the more profitable and prosperous a country can be. They're destroying all that. And in the process, destroying the economies and destroying people, etc. So really, right, who benefits? Who's benefiting from this? It's not you and me. It's not Europe. Well, Russia is actually benefiting from the fact that Biden will not open up more drilling. He won't reinstitute the Keystone pipeline. In Europe, they're saying, yeah, in 2027, we'll be off of their stuff. How? Right? How? Are you going to burn more carbon? That's anti-Green New Deal stuff. Can't have it both ways, can they? That is, folks, SHTF. Their plan is revealed. They're idiots. That's their plan. They think they're actually going to get off of Russian energy in 5 years. Where are they going to get it from? Well, in any crisis, you never let that go to waste. Thank you, Rahm Emanuel, for letting that out. Who is benefiting, though, right now? Who benefits from what is being done? In Latin, qui bono, right? U.S. and European energy companies, folks, are benefiting by Europe trying to cut off Russia. Compressing natural gas into liquid natural gas, LNG, so it can be shipped to send to Europe is an expensive proposition. Our ports and our facilities can only compress so much natural gas at any one time. They're only rated or designed and engineered to do that. But the U.S. has been trying to do this, believe it or not, and I know you believe it, for years and years, they've been selling liquid natural gas to Europe. All the time trying to compete with Russia, who has very inexpensive natural gas that's coming to Europe in gaseous form through, that's right, the Nord Stream pipelines. They wanted to kill that. They wanted to stop that. They wanted to cut it off. They want Europe to buy expensive American liquid natural gas and other European natural gas material instead of buying that cheap Russian stuff. So on top of everything else in this manufactured bullshit war, of Ukraine. It's about energy. Energy is an economy. Energy is prosperity. Energy helps us live day to day and make progress, supposedly make progress. Looks like we're getting a lot of regression. Anyways, this war, this Ukraine nonsense has been created not just to hide biolabs, not just to run cover for the failure of the banking system, not just as an excuse to blame economic conditions on Russia instead of the cerveza bug crap, right? It was beneficial to cause a shortage and increased demand for U.S. and European gas, oil, and, coal. And remember, just a few days ago, I believe it was at the end of the week, it came out that Biden released the strategic national reserves. And then we discovered those reserves were then pumped onto a freaking cargo ship, an oil tanker, and sent over to Europe. Someone sold it to Europe. So when I say they want to sell energy to Europe from America and make nice big fat profits, so you start a war, the cost of energy goes way up. Then you shun the bad guys, Russia, and now you can sell your oil that you stole from the American people at a much bigger profit. Way to go, Biden. Meanwhile, you get to pay more at the pump. You get a big bird for the Biden. And it's hit the fan, folks. I got some pictures come out of California. Empty meat section at a supermarket in the Bay Area. Bay Area is a big place, folks. Bay Area has well over 10 million people in it. The Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, has Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, all the little burgs and metropolises in between, North Bay, South Bay, East Bay, and lots of supermarkets, and they're having a hell of a time keeping up. Who benefits from what is going on, folks? Who wins? Well, energy companies is one of them. Surprise? Surprise! Ever wonder who benefits and profits over decisions made by government? There is always, folks, always a profit maker in every government decision. Every time their plan is revealed, it is to make a huge profit. It is to control us. It is to hide their mistakes. It is to create an enemy so they have excuses to lend money, loan money, donate money. It's how this game is played. It's how this game is played. Now, I'll tell you, don't ever doubt Dr. Doom. You want another surprise? Well, a double juicinated ESPN host, his name is Herb Street. He's going to miss the 2022 NFL draft. Uh-oh, what happened? He has a massive blood clot. And he says, basically, out of an overabundance of caution, he's going to decline going to the NFL draft. In other words, the man can't do his job. It's not a hard job. He's not out there pounding nails in the sun. He's not digging ditches. He's not on his feet all day, even cutting someone's hair. Nope, not doing any of that. He's sitting in a chair, slurping on coffee, eating donuts, and making commentary. Sounds pretty close to my job some days. Nope, I haven't had a donut in a while. But I do slurp a bit of coffee. Anyways, chalk another one up for Dr. Doom. Never doubt that guy. It's good for you. It's safe. It's effective. It's the Jim Jones juice.
Hey folks, at the Prepared Mind channel, we take your health very seriously. That's why we recommend the Jim Jones juice. That's right, the Jim Jones juice. Get yourself a can today.
Just the friendly homes of America are always prepared for hospitality. Not only on Thanksgiving Day, but every day all the year around. No matter who comes to call or who happens to drop in.
There's nothing like hitting the Jim Jones juice, laying one down, and feeling that stuff enter your bloodstream. Oh.
Did Bill leave his pop and candy only half eaten? No, sir.
Oh, heart attack. Defibrillator. Clot. Don't forget, call an ambulance when you get your Jim Jones juice, because it's that good. Oh, 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 oh.
So running along that same line of the juice and the juice boost, right? Supposedly, no. The vice president, Kamala Harris, who has taken the Jim Jones juice and is double boosted. Well, the supposedly juiced and boosted. She has tested positive for cerveza bug, folks, and is now going into isolation. We're supposed to be scared? Oh my God, it's out there. We're supposed to be concerned? Oh my God, not Kamala. Oh, that's terrible. We're supposed to be concerned, I guess, that, well, they lie. It's not effective. Or it's not the real juice. She got an artificial juice, a non-juice, and a non-boost. So which is it, camel toes? Is it that you haven't been really juiced and boosted, or that the juice and boost don't work? Folks, either way, I want nothing to do with that shit. I tell you, what a world. Okay. When I said their plan is exposed, it's revealed. Did we or did we not hear from jackass Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin? Lloyd, I'm an idiot, Austin came out and said, yeah, we're trying to push and beat down Russia into a quagmire. That's our goal. Well, it really wasn't what I would call a definitive explanation. However, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had something to say about what is going on. What is the plan? Plan revealed, folks. He said when he was speaking of the push by NATO into former Soviet areas, quote, of course, when they accepted Montenegro, North Macedonia, Albania, how can they, meaning NATO, how can they strengthen the security of the North Atlantic Alliance if it is a defensive alliance? Then he decided to answer his own question, which is, what we like to do. You say self. I was saying to myself, self. Anyways, he answered his own question with, quote, this simply shows that NATO expansion has nothing to do with the fulfillment of its statutory goals, that this is the development of territories under the U.S. command in line with strengthening and attempting to perpetrate that same unipolar world. And as before, many of us are convinced that the real position, meaning the plan revealed, the real position of Ukraine is determined in Washington, London, and other Western capitals. And therefore, our political scientists say, why talk with Zelensky's team? You need to talk with the Americans and you need to negotiate with them and achieve some kind of agreement. But we still continue to negotiate with the team that Zelensky nominated. These contacts will continue. Right? He's calling a spade and calling out the U.S. on the lies and the puppet Voldemort. Basically saying Voldemort has no real power. He takes his advice. He takes his command from U.S. command. And also that NATO is there to be the muscle behind the globalist effort. That's right, right? The unipolar world, the one world, folks. That's what they're saying is, this is imperialistic conquest, not by a nation, England, Spain, Germany, or the United States, but rather by the unipolar world power, the globalists, the World Economic Forum, and if you will, the Illuminati. Yep, plans revealed. For me, he came out and said it. This is about U.S. dominance through its military to control the world for economic globalists so that they can continue to expand their profit making. Sounds simple to me, right? Now, according to Rabobank, the United States I would say United States government, is seeking escalation into a permanent economic war. And Russia's going to respond in kind. Folks, when they screw everything up, the banks lead us to war. It's not just a catchy, cute phrase. It's a real thing. And boy, howdy, the bankers, globalists, and the U.S. DC government have screwed the pooch on the entire world system. To hide their idiotic blunders, greed, corruption, and theft, they do what they do best. More blunders, greed, corruption, and theft. In a war, though, you stop believing that lie, or I should say, I stopped believing that lie. I guess I could say, have you stopped believing that lie? I know I stopped believing the lie that war is good for the economy. When I was 12 years old, just a 12-year-old student, folks, I stopped believing that war is good for economies. Yes, people go to work and businesses sell materials and goods to rebuild, to fight a war, but who pays for it, folks? Taxpayers, us, you and me. But banks always win, folks, because they loan money to fight the war. Then they loan money to replace destroyed military equipment. And then they loan money to rebuild everything else. So they make money before, during, and after a war. So they want a war with Russia, huh? To hide all their self-inflicted destruction on us. Yes, folks, the banks do. The politicians, they want a war to convince us of our patriotism and to satisfy our desire to have an enemy to fight. So to assuage our anger at what bankers have done, politicians do want war for that reason. And the globalists want a war so they can profit off the war, the destruction, and the rebuilding. Yes, they do. They always like that. And the people want to be treated to this same game again, to be fooled, duped, and screwed out of our wealth. Yeah, believe it or not, most do. If you are flying a Ukrainian flag or any yellow and blue device, you're a fool and a dupe. If you think screwing with Russia over a violated treaty committed by Ukraine is patriotic, you might be an idiot. Yes, you are. If you want war for the sake of having an enemy, your war is in your mind and in our own government in DC, and you have been defeated already. Russia is ready, folks. That is why Russia finally invaded. They saw the writing on the wall. They prepared starting years ago for what has happened. And when provoked to the extent their national interests were at stake, they invaded Ukraine to stop what was happening. Folks, I want freedom. I want peace. The process to get there is not through supporting the evil globalist leadership. So, plan revealed. Enjoy. Oh man, I just lining all this up. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's a war on free speech. And as I started this segment, we're fighting it. And interestingly, Elon Musk comes along. A South African. Oh no, that's right. A lot of people are accusing him of being a South African apartheid person, and that he's, because of that, anything he says about free speech is racist. They're going to continue to fight their ridiculous virtue signaling game, and the left is going to speak to just the left. For our part, we need to speak to our people and wake them up and appeal to their logic and intelligence rather than just using talking points. They are actually losing the intellectual game, folks, and that's why they fear Twitter falling into the hands of someone who wants free speech. Oh my God, democracy can't handle free speech. No. Tyranny cannot handle free speech. Despotism, tyrants hate free speech. Dictators hate free speech. Elitist scumbags hate free speech. These aristocrat assholes, they actually think they're royalty. They think they're kings and queens. They hate free speech. And so they're trying to say that democracy doesn't like free speech. Well, they're losing the battles, folks, on many levels. We have to keep fighting, though. We have to be prepared. And by the way, rats really do jump ship. How many people have quit the Kamala Harris administration, the VP administration? Well, now senior Biden advisor Cedric Richmond is set to leave the White House. Yep, folks, They're getting their asses handed to them. Keep doing what you do. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your plan and prep to action. Let's keep doing what we do. It is now your turn. What do you want to talk about? We can retouch on any of the topics I covered. You can play Stump the John with a tell a lie, tell the truth, and see if I can pick which one is which. Because it's a bizarro world out there, folks. But if you're thinking and you've got enough information, you can make intelligent choices, decisions, and be intelligently prepared. So let's get to those questions and see what you want to talk about today.
Are you ready?
And we're back. What do we got going? What do we have? We have Rick O'Connell. How you doing there, brother? He says, question, what's going on with precious metals? The price on silver and gold has dropped over the last week. Today, the stock market is down, but metals continue to fall. What's your thoughts? They've got some big problems, folks. If you recall, over the last few weeks, Chief Goon Powell, and that would be Craig Hemke's favorite way to describe Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. They've been very hawkish, if you will, on interest rates. You see, what they've done for the past 20 years, past 30 years, is they've taken high interest rates and lowered them and lowered them and then lowered them and lowered them and then lowered them some more. And they lower them to say, hey, look, you can borrow money cheap. You can borrow that money cheaper. So you better get in now, buy that car, buy that house, use those credit cards. Rates are low. And they've had to do that literally since Alan Greenspan was chairman. And then Benjamin Shlomo Bernanke became chairman. And then we had old Yellen. Janet Yellen was the chairman. And now we've got Jerome Powell. He's been in there since the Trump presidency. And all of these people have the same idea in mind. We need to be able to lower interest rates, except what happened under Chairman Powell? We hit frickin' zero practically. Now, the thing is with interest rates is it's great to borrow money when interest rates are low, right? Because you're not paying much interest rate. But time has money. Time has value. You've heard the expression, time is money. Time is money when it comes to interest rates, the borrowing rate. Now, the other thing that this has done, this lowering of interest rates, and I'll get to the answer, Rick. I haven't lost it, man. I'm going to circle back better than Jen Psaki ever thought she could. The lowering of interest rates punishes savers. It punishes savers, especially when the interest rate, this here is the inflation rate. Here's the savings rate or interest rate. If inflation is at, say, 2% and the savings rate is 6% or 8%, you've got the delta. The difference is, that's 8 and 2 is 6. You're making 6% on your money. As they've lowered the interest rate, saving money isn't as attractive. You're only making on the year a couple of percent, maybe. What if the interest rate was 6% and you're only paying 4% on money borrowed? Now it's really cheap, right? But saving money becomes punitive. By saving cash, you actually lose value. And so you're like, fuck it, I'm losing value. I'm going to spend that money. And that's what they've done to, they love this word, right? We're going to goose the economy. We're going to spur the economy on, right? We're going to prompt the economy. They've got their different expressions for it. Of course, their favorite is stimulate. I love how they stimulate the economy with low interest rates. So they always lower them to stimulate until they got to zero. And they're like, oh, fuck, we can't lower it anymore. So a few years ago, they raised the interest rates and it threw what they called a taper tantrum when they started tapering the amount of money they're spending. They had to drop it back down again because the economy instantly took a shit. They're doing it again. They're saying, folks, that they're raising the interest rates and that they're not doing quantitative easing. They're not printing money, except they're lying. Their balance sheet, what the Federal Reserve owns, is not coming down. They're not selling it back into the market. They're not selling the stocks, the bonds, T-bills, etc. They're screwing the system up even worse, in other words. They're raising interest rates. People think the dollar is more valuable, so gold and silver take a crap, right? They're pushing the metals down. They want gold to look bad. They want silver to look bad. They want everything to look as bad as they can. It's a smokescreen. It's lies. It's bullshit. The stock market has really taken a hit in the last, you could say 4 or 5 days of trading. It's really looking bad. The plunge protection team is trying to step back. They're gauging and measuring and seeing how far they can let this go before they have to jump back in, folks. They're going to want to jump in and throw a bunch of cash in there to hold it up. Otherwise, people are going to panic. If the market panics too much, you get a serious decline, a crash. Now, they want to bring interest rates down. They're trying to raise them, and they're also flooding the market with lots of cash, floating everything, because they need to raise those interest rates so that when it looks like in a recession, they're going to have to announce it. They can go, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to cut those interest rates again. Right? They're going to cut the interest rates to stimulate the economy. They want to make it look like they can actually do something. When all along for years, you and I have talked and discussed, what is it? What are the tools? They used to describe, I love how these fucking clowns in the Federal Reserve go, we got a toolbox full of tools. All they can do is control the interest rates, literally. And the only thing they can do besides that is to print stacks of cash and throw it around. That's all they can do. They don't have a fucking toolbox. They make it sound like they work for a living, right? I built houses. I've worked on cars and trucks. I have a toolbox that has actual tools in it that actually do things. All they have is interest rates and a money machine that prints out money, just spitting money out everywhere. That's all they have. And they're becoming less and less useful. The promise to spend money on this government program and that government program, I've heard that my whole life from Democrats. We're going to spend money and it's going to stimulate the economy. See, we're going to take in money and then we're going to just put it right back out there so it doesn't hurt anybody. Well, except for the fucking people who work their asses off and pay taxes. Once again, I paid way too much tax in my lifetime as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure before I die, they're going to tax the ever-loving shit out of me. And then when I'm dead, they're going to tax the ever-loving shit out of me some more. And then they're going to say, see, we're the government. We just put that money right back out there. Didn't cost anything. There's no negative consequences to what we do. Well, yeah, right here, right? Stock market's down. You think the banks are taking a loss? Or do you think they're looking at your investments going, oh, sorry to hear about that. Your money's gone. Sorry. Reminds me of the South Park thing, right? And it's gone. Your money's gone. Sorry about that. The banks don't lose, folks, but you do. The value of your stocks, your portfolio. Now, remember, your gold and silver that you're speaking of, right? Rick, I don't know how much gold or silver you have, if you have any at all. But I know that that is a guide. It's a measurement. It's a way to judge or gauge the value of currency, what it is based against certain commodities, especially gold and silver. In this case, say you have 100 silver coins. The stock market says, hey, that went down in value. You run into your safe, you spin the dial, you open the safe, you still have 100 ounces of silver. You don't lose an ounce. It's just what they say it's worth changes. That's all. They can't make gold and silver disappear out of people's physical holding. They can make your paper worthless, though. And that's the game. They play a paper game, folks. Plan revealed. Good golly. Anyways, great topic. Thank you, Rick, for bringing that one up so we can discuss it in more detail. Latin America preparedness, always checking in with a great question, comment, etc., etc. Says, I'm an employee at several stadiums. That's a hell of a trick to be working at several stadiums. All transactions are required to be contactless using a credit debit card. Cash is no longer accepted. Patrons can change cash to card at an ATM machine. Thoughts? It's illegal. Cash says right on there, all debts, public and private. This will satisfy all debts. If someone refuses to take it, right, they're violating the law. They have to take payment. They cannot deny you service. Of course, they're going to use cerveza bug and dirty cash, right? That's their excuse. But this is what they want to do, right? Remember when they said, oh my God, germs live on money. I'm like, germs live on your face. Oh, germs live in frickin' masks, right? Viruses and bacteria, they live in sweaty, smelly, juicy, contaminated, moist face diapers. But they want that on your face, but you're not allowed to touch money. Unbelievable. How about this? How about heating your money up to 300 degrees, well below the auto ignition of 451, Fahrenheit 451, when paper starts to burn? Heat that stuff up and kill viruses. No, we don't want to do that. We want a cashless system so we can track everything. So yeah, they want credit card, debit cards being used on every transaction. Personally, I like cash, folks. Coins are a pain in the ass, though. More pain in my thigh and my front pocket. I don't like coins, but if they said, what do you want, John, forever, credit card or cash? I'd be picking cash. Right? It's convenient, though, to use these credit cards. It's convenient to use a debit card. It's convenient to tap your phone. They want to sell everything on convenience, folks. They do. They want to sell everything on convenience. When was the last time you were at a store and somebody pulled out a checkbook? I think it's been like a year. Someone pulled out a checkbook. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. They're like, who do I make this check out to? And they start writing, they're like, okay, supermarket A. And how much was that again? They have to write the number down, then spell the number out. Then they got to sign it. And then they put it in their register. And it was like, holy cow, that took like 5 fucking minutes. That's how it used to be all the time. Right? We're so used to things being fast and easy and quick and convenient. So yeah, once again, they're conditioning us and letting us know that, yeah, their way is the best and no other way is accepted. Whew. Contactless. I love that idea. Whether or not people were 6 feet or further apart, whether or not people wore masks or not, people got sick. Whether or not you locked yourself in your freaking house, you got sick. Remember hearing about that woman? She was a clean freak, nut, psychopath. She wore 2 masks, kept herself locked in the bathroom, right? Only came out of her own bathroom to go around the house, I think, to eat food and do a couple other things, and then locked herself in, folks. No other contact with human beings. Fucking bitch came down with cerveza bug. How? How is it possible? Like the cerveza bug just kind of floated through the air and went under the door and into the house and kind of floated around and went over to the bathroom and was like, fuck it, I'm going to get in here. Went through the keyhole, maybe. Got through the keyhole, found where the woman was, kind of floated over to her, got into her mask. And can you believe it? A virus made it through a mask without getting snagged on a booger particulate or something else. And then got in the woman and was viable enough to make her sick. I imagine that's what it took. But it happened. Unbelievable. Yeah, I think someone showed me a sand catching device the other day. They said this device is so good at holding sand, it's right up there with the quality of a face mask and stopping a virus. And it was actually a shopping cart on the beach. Right? You pour sand in a shopping cart, it's going to go right through the holes. Same freaking story. Bonnie Blue asks a great question. She says, do progressives, and she means by progressives, liberal, scumbag, Democrat, socialists, do progressives hate cash because they're tired of laundering it? Well, they have as much trouble laundering electronic transfers of cash as physical cash. This is kind of a unique and interesting question, though. What is laundering of cash or laundering money? It's the act or the process by which you make questionable money appear to be legitimately earned and possessed. For example, if you found a suitcase full of cash at a bus stop, right? No name on it, no tag, no apparent crime anywhere, nothing on the news says bad. Somebody just lost their bag of cash. They could have paid all the taxes on it. They could have legitimately taken that money out of a bank. Perfectly legal cash. You try and do anything with it, someone's going to say, where'd you get all that money? You try putting it in the bank, they're going to say, where'd you get this? Right? You try buying a car with it? Nope. Buying a house with it? Nope. What are you going to do with, say, $1 million in cash? You've got to make it appear to be legitimate. So you have to launder it. Well, imagine if your name was Hunter Biden. No. Imagine if your name was Junter Biden and you worked for an energy company in Ukraine and they paid you $10 million a month to be on their board because you were going to use your political power as Junter Biden to get special protections and deals from the United States government in Washington, D.C. But nobody would ever believe that you, as Junter Biden, would be worth $10 million a month to sit on that board. So in order to make your job look legitimate, in order to hide that money, right, so it doesn't look like bribery money or extortion money, you need to launder it. Right? So you create, let's see, how about a nonprofit corporation? And maybe you'll call it the Clinton Foundation. And so then you have a fundraising dinner and people come in and spend a lot of money and, like 5 people show up, but somehow you collected $10 million in cash. And then you take that money to the bank and you say, this is from my fundraiser for the Clinton Foundation that is for Junter Biden. Now you've appeared or made that money appear to be legitimately collected. Isn't that funny how tax-free foundations, tax-free, so the money they get doesn't get taxed. It's a tax-free donation. Tax-free foundations by people like the Clintons from around the world, people can make donations to it. And it's funny how that person that makes a nice fat donation to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Foundation, they start getting the things they want. Political favors, political contracts. They clean that money just in that, the name for it though is called pay to play. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to launder money. You go into a casino, you put $1,000 into a machine, you hit the button a few times, you cash out, you go get your money out. Now that money appears to be clean. I think that's a stupid way to clean money, but there it is. Wow. There's different levels, different games, different strokes for different folks. Anyways, they do hate cash, folks, because the people that really hate cash are the ones at the top of the pyramid because they can't tax all of it. They can't control it. And if they can control and tax the money, then they can control and tax you at every turn. You are more of a servant and less of a wild card. So let's move on if we shall. We got David. He says, in your opinion, how bad will things get in the United States of America? Recession, depression, Mad Max. Is there any way to stop it? There is no way to stop the recession. We're in it. We've been in it. For them to go, oh my gosh, year on year, from last year to this year, Biden's America, we've got growth. Well, wait a minute. The world was locked down. It was ridiculous. You can't compare this year's production numbers as an open culture, society, and economy to the economy 2 years ago when everything was locked down and people were in their houses huddling and say, see how much growth we've gotten? Compare today's numbers to, 2019. we're in a recession, we're in a depression. They're starting to admit that the recession is real. They're going to have to admit there's a depression. The government and the Treasury and the Federal Reserve are going to hand out money all they can. Stimulus money, free money, universal basic income. We don't want the system to fall apart. They don't want people to panic. They don't want the wealth of this nation destroyed. They don't mind destroying you, but they don't want houses, roads, bridges, infrastructure destroyed. That costs a lot of money. They can't stop that. Can they stop Mad Max? The answer is yes. But can they use Mad Max? Mad Max meaning complete, total mayhem, lawlessness, people shooting each other, road rage, off the hook, government's not effective, police in hiding, and, gangland hysteria, in other words. Basically, the summer of 2020, which was mostly peaceful, right? Can they use that? Now, there's a question. It can be stopped. Tell everyone in America, you are now the law. Someone's breaking the freaking law and assaulting, robbing, hurting anyone else. Why don't you go take care of business? You're the law. That would stop everything, because everyone would be like, hey, we all got guns here. We can all be cool and behave. No one get out of hand. Because we have police, we're like, you know what? I don't got to do nothing. The police will handle it. That person over there is getting robbed. I don't care. Person over there, their store is being broken into. Not my business. The police can handle this. If they said we're all responsible for ourselves, we would be. Because we see someone getting robbed or whatever, and we're like, okay, now I can pull on some Dirty Harry shit here. And I got some one-liners. Right? Go ahead, make my day, punk. Bam! If I can walk off, right? Mic drop. Gotcha. Bad guy gone. They don't want that. They want us reliant on them, the government. But could they use Mad Max not to empower us, the people, and let us know that we're in charge, but rather make us fearful, make us beg, please, government, come and save us, protect us? Yeah, they could. They could cause Mad Max scenario, food shortages, fuel shortages, electricity outages. People start panicking. They start rioting and looting and attacking stores, right? People are hurt. People are scared. People are dying. Begging for the government, please come back. We'll give up our rights. You guys are awesome. We'll stand in Bernie Sanders's food lines. Let's send those bad guys to the gulag. They could do that, folks. I mean, they used the riots of 2020 to their benefit to make it look like America was a shithole, to make Trump look like he was an ineffective president, right? To accuse America of being racist because a convicted felon, multiple time drug addict who was whacked out of his mind on fentanyl died while being arrested. So let's tear apart America. That makes frickin' sense. So when they say, or I say, can they use Mad Max? They can create Mad Max and use it however they want. Question is, do you have to participate in it? Are you prepared? Right? What action will you take? That's the thing that they can't control. Is there any way to stop it? We can only stop it, David, in my opinion, in our little world. Now, once again, what is our little world? Here's you. It's 10-mile radius around it, right? And you're right in the middle of it. You can't affect anything personally unless it's within your range, right? It's within the line of sight of you. But we can control that or affect it quite a bit. And that is where being prepared is most handy. It's most beneficial because that is our world. What you can see and the 10 miles around you, because in that 10 miles, people can travel. So the 10-mile radius around you is those people can get to you and you can get to them. That's your world. What you can directly affect is in your eyesight. But yeah, they can try and do all kinds of craziness. And they have, and they will, and they've practiced at it, folks. They've practiced quite a bit over the years. From fake bombings to fake shootings, fake, all lies, bullshit. It's about manipulation of your mind, your belief systems, Unbelievable. We got Bill D checking in. He says, here's a question. The best way to find a prepper group. This is an old question. It's a great question because it matters. You have to ask yourself, how many people do I want? What would be beneficial? What do I need? Kind of get some ideas. The best place, I think, to do this, to find a prepper group, is to go to a gun range. Whether you're in the country, in the city, in the suburbs, gun range, most people who have guns are conservative. There are many, many, many liberals out there with guns, though. Make no mistake. But at a gun range, people have a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun. They feel pretty damn proud of that. They feel a little bit empowered because they're allowed to hold their gun. Boy, howdy, it's great. I can hold my gun here and not be arrested for it. Right? You hold your gun on the street and there's going to be a policeman roll up on you pretty quick and say, we'd like you to put that down, please, while we have a little discussion. Actually, they're not quite that polite. But at a shooting range, people feel pretty empowered, pretty safe, and they'll tell you their politics. You could make a joke. Hey, let's go, Brandon. See who snarls at you and who smiles and laughs, right? Or people could just be wearing a shirt, let's go, Brandon. Or a shirt that says, come and try and take my gun, mofo, right? People in free areas tend to let their politics out a little more. So you can talk to them. You can ask them a question. I did this a short while back. I went to a gun store and, hey, they had coffee. So I got myself a cup of coffee and kind of sat at the counter on a bunch of stools with some of the good old boys. And we just talked. I was like, hey, we got prepper groups around here? And they're like, yep, got prepper groups around here. I said, that's good to know. What if that road over there has a bunch of, torch and pitchfork carrying liberals coming down? And they're like, well, we would take care of that shit. It's like, good to know. Good to know. I did not ask to join their prepper groups. I did not ask for phone numbers or emails, but I could have. I was right there. They noticed that I was wearing one of my Marine shirts, and my attitude, my jokes, and my proclamations let them know that I was a good guy. Right? So you got to kind of do a little shopping with who you are. You're selling yourself a little bit with who you are. And I know that I can come off, with a rather militant tone, and being 6'6" is kind of an advantage, for saying, I'm probably a good addition to your prepper group. But that is my recommendation. Gun ranges, sporting goods stores. If you live in an area that's just chock full of liberals, it's going to be a lot harder. If you live in a very rural area, it's going to be a lot easier. I wouldn't say, though, that it's easy, because now we're talking about trust, right? I met someone the other day who was a friend of a friend, and he lives, I don't know, approximately 30 miles away. And after just spending a short amount of time with him, I was like, that dude is a good guy, right? He's a kind of a very good, rugged little individual. And I don't mean little in a bad way. But I thought, yep, you just met another prepper. You just met another patriot. That guy could be in your group, no problem. You just have to do it. Like everything else, like prepping, you can't say, well, I know what it takes to be a prepper, and I can just be there in 5 minutes if I wanted. Really? You can have all the food you need for 3 months. Right? Water's taken care of. You got clothing and a bunker and all the medicine, all the self-defense you need. You could get all that wrapped up in a couple hours, a day, a week, a month. Are you kidding me? Right? You have to do it. You have to take the steps. And that's why we put the email down here, or rather the URL, internet address, so people can start taking those steps to get prepared. It's critical to take those steps. And that's what I try and get people to do, is to start, to go meet people if you don't have a prepper group. And I'll tell you what, one more little trick. If you're with a friend, your partner, if you will, and you both can speak well enough, right? You appear as two people rather than one. They'll give you some confidence and some courage, right? That you could speak to others as a couple or as a group, small group, large group, and you can befriend people in order to be, someone's partner, if you will, in prepping to be in someone's prepper group, you're going to have to become friends, right? This is one of the things that we did in the military. We were together, right? We were all wearing the same uniform. We're all in the same mission. We're all in the same unit. You do things together at work. You do things together after work. On the weekends, you become friends. Doesn't matter what color you are or anything else, age, right? You're not allowed to call superior officers assholes, but it works. Now, Ooman says, don't be too anxious to join a prepper group. If they let you in that easy, I'd be a bit concerned. Could also be that they're looking for someone to take advantage of. Slow and steady. Trust but verify. Talk to them. Get to know them. If you don't like their attitude, if they start revealing that there's some kind of wacko militants or they have plans, right, that are illegal, like, kidnapping Governor Whitmer in Michigan, you might not want to be part of that group. So yeah, slow and steady, but you do have to take some risk. There is some risk and there is challenge to it, just like the rest of life. Funny how that works. Hey, for now, right? Uh-oh, shoot. Bonnie Blue says, I run across the most preppers in gardening forums and the Master Gardener class I took last year. Also my congregation. Once again, right? Areas where you are good gardening. And politics comes up, folks, whether it's a gardening or cooking, shooting guns. That's just one of those things I like, and I find it most useful. Yeah, you're going to find them where they're at. But gardening is a big part of being prepared, growing your own food. You would suspect that a good percentage of those people have some inkling of the need to grow their own food. Is it because they like the taste and the freshness? Yes. Do they believe that GMO food is bad and so they're conspiracy nuts? Well, that could make them a prepper. Okay, we got Charlene T says, so look for people who like to do a lot of canning. Why not? Right? But you have to actually take the steps, get involved, get out there, open your mouth, expose yourself somewhat, find people who are willing to talk to you, that get along with you, that share the same ideals. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's possible. And here we have great examples. And in the chat section, you guys can share great examples also. For now, though, I'm gonna close this down. Chance favors the prepared mind, folks. Is yours. Get prepared. Have those items. Find good people to surround yourself with. Most people start with coworkers and friends and family because you know them, you trust them already, you're around them, you understand who they are. That's why that is typical. When I was back in California, my subcontractors and my coworkers, I knew who the good ones were. And we had our talks. I'm not there anymore, though. But, folks, we've revealed our plan here, our mission, our agenda. It's get prepared. Godspeed, Semper Fi. I'll see you guys bright and early. Bye-bye.